This week's episode is brought to you by our good friends at Snaffle. Snaffle is a subscription e-commerce platform for all your favourite products. From iPhones and flip phones to computers, TVs, furniture and more. Head on over to snaffle.com.au to browse their range and start snaffling today. Changkuoth Jiath, welcome to the Dylan Friends podcast. My friends, a pleasure, honour, privilege to have you in the studio. New sign. You like
looking
it?
Nice, looking very nice.
Mate, it's an honour. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're mates. We've hung out.
Yeah.
At the Ball Magnets launch.
At the MCG, yeah.
Yeah, it's the home of football.
Yeah.
Our favourite place to hang out. But you do it differently than I do. Mate, how are you? Firstly, looking good, looking fit, looking strong.
Thank you. I'm currently doing some rehab at the moment, so okay. I'm just doing some gym and a bit of running as well. It's feeling really good, so yeah.
What's going on?
I think it was like 12 weeks ago I hurt my PCL.
Ooh.
And I've been out since then, so I've just been doing a bit of rehab and that. I started running last week as well, so it's very exciting. I run on ground on Friday, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's funny, like I was in rehab a lot, but you always feel your fittest when you're in rehab. Like I wish I felt and looked as good when you play. It's weird.
Yeah, that is true. I was me and Will Day, we had a challenge going on because we were both in rehab, and we were just saying who can put on the most size quickest. I managed to beat him. I thought I lost at the moment before that, because he came up to me. He was like, "All right, let's have a test," and he got his phone, put it in his pocket, and we weighed in. So he weighed in like an extra kilo, and I was like, "All right, hang on, let's do that again." Yeah. And then he got caught out, and someone just saw it. I was like, yeah.
What do you have, like a Nokia, like 3315? Like
he had a brick in there, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. What's like going back now? Like I think as a young player as well. With pre-season, it's always such a big time because like you've had your breakout season, you played incredible football. You go into that pre-season, you're like, fuck, I need to like work on things. I want to get bigger. I want to get stronger. I want to get fitter. What's your thing this season? You're focusing on to really pick up this pre-season, like.
Oh man, just the whole thing of just not playing in that last, I think it was like 7 games. It just motivated even more. I was like, well, I'm not playing. I miss playing, so I'm going to use this to fuel me in the off season. And then I went off. I've just been doing a lot of gym, a lot of running, and I just feel very motivated to get back. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Is there anything like, because I just like on the topic, I remember when I was in that space and I was like, fuck, I need to get bigger. I need to get stronger. But at the end of the day, like we spoke to Cade Simpson ages ago. He, Cade Simpson, obviously one of the game's greats. Yeah. He was like, fuck, you get told so many things, but sometimes you just got to work out what's most important to you because you can't focus on getting like all 3 things to 100% at once. What's like your A game that you're always focusing on? Is it your running? Is it your speed? Or what's your number one that you're like, yes, I got to get better at maybe a bit bigger, but what's my one thing I'm going to get even better at? I
focus a lot on my first 3 steps. I find that it's very important in footy because it's such a centimetre game where a fingernail can just affect a whole gameplay. So I focus on my first 3 steps. If I do have the ball, driving really fast and just exploding, and then if I don't, running to help out, and I find that it helps a lot. So that's one of the things I do focus when I'm playing and when I'm on training as well. So
you win. You're going to be very modest here, but you win a lot of the time trials and stuff, don't you?
I won my first one last season, so hopefully I can win another one this.
Is that because what do you do? That's like a 2.2.
Yeah, 2.2 because the extra 200 meters around because it's bigger than a normal track, so they just added the 200.
Are you allowed to tell us what you ran in? I know they're a bit secretive sometimes of what these times are. Because I'm on Strava, man. Like I'm saying, like if you're on Strava, you're a competitor of mine.
Oh.
Do you know what it would have been?
No, I'll keep that.
You keep it? Okay, yeah. That just says you're scared of me. Basically, that means you're scared of me. I go Strava. I go about 50%, and I'm running like 4 minute 30Ks. So
hey, that's impressive.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, so obviously you're scared of me. Hey, so congratulations on your breakout year. You've 22 under 22 with the AFLPA, unbelievable. Take us back to the start of the season. What did you line yourself up with? What were the goals? Did you achieve everything you wanted? Was it something you'd planned to do, or did you surprise yourself?
Well, going away from the season before this season, I was very disappointed in my performance. I was like, and the club as well. Everyone was just disappointed. So I was like, I went away, thought about things. I wasn't very happy. I was like, this isn't me. This is not where I wanted. So
what happened?
So I made sure that I ticked every box, when I went off and did my program. and just did everything I could to make sure, I can come back better. And it just takes belief as well. Once you tick the boxes, you can have confidence. But some people have it the other way. Some people can just have confidence straight away. But me, I had to tick a lot of boxes to just believe in myself. So then I went away, came back in the pre-season. Everyone was impressed because it was a big step from the season I had before that to that moment. So it was just, it was awesome to get that recognition as well, and it just fueled me even more to keep training really harder and play harder. And then the first JLT match was pretty much when it took off. That's when I just was like, yeah, this is it. This is where I want to be.
What happened? What was that conversation though? Like at the end of 2019, with I'm assuming the coaches and staff, like that made you sort of change.
So it was with Sam Mitchell actually. We were just sitting in the office. I just went in there just to talk a bit of smack, a bit of shit. Went in there, and halfway through the conversation, he just goes, "CJ, why are you not playing AFL footy? Like you've got the speed, you've got the athleticism. Like how come you're not playing every week?" I'm like, "That's a great question. I'm like, why aren't I?" So then I went away. That's just pretty much how it started.
Fuck. So he's just like, I think he would have known exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, 100%. He's a genius. You can see a lot of potential, a lot of people. Lockie Bramble, he was in the Box Hill program, and Mitch was a big belief of it, had a lot of belief in him, and hence why he was drafted and playing a lot of good footy at the moment as well. Now,
I say this a little bit through list cloggers and stuff, but I think the biggest thing, it's funny, like we write off, I feel like we in the AFL community have sort of ridden off Hawthorn and been like, fuck, they're going to be rebuilding and whatnot. But look at players like yourself coming back next year, Will Day, who is one of my favourite players, James Sicily off his knee, Jack Gunston, who he was injured most of the year. And then you put into fact as well, you've got Tom Scully and Jonathan Patton, who obviously retired early this season. I feel like there's a lot of money to play with. I wouldn't be surprised that if something sort of happens, hopefully soon, to bring in some more players or bring in some more young talent or picks or whatever it is, and Hawks just stay very nicely.
Yeah, well, as you said, we had a lot of injuries towards that, mid-season where we're just going to shit really. But I mean, as well, you add Jarman Impey in there as well.
Jarman Impey.
And man, it's going to be so exciting next year. We were pretty disappointed this year because we thought we were going to be up there. We beat Western Bulldogs in the Pracky match early on the season, and we're just, we were so excited. We're like, yeah, we're going to win the Premiership, boys. But no, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be really nice next year.
Who's the hardest player you played on this season in your early journey at halfback? Who have you just been like, fuck, this bloke is off? Because your role as well, it's like, it's tough because you've got to play on someone, but then obviously make them worry about you too.
Yeah. So it was against West Coast last year. Liam Ryan.
Yeah. Fucked.
He made me look. I was embarrassed coming off. I was embarrassed. He took a hanger over me. I think it was like in third quarter or something, or second quarter, and it was just, he just kept taking hangers, and I was like, what do I do? He just keeps flying for everything. And I just I just got embarrassed. Like I played the worst game of my life that day. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, this guy's a freak.
He's a star. He's one of the most exciting players to watch and especially that half forward role, which is, very, very tough position to play. But I'm sure you'll get one over him very soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Mate, I'd love to go back to your story and how you, would have to go right back, but how your family got to Australia, how you got into football, and talk about that pathway, because I'm sure a lot of people are aware of it, but it is truly incredible. I'd absolutely love to hear it firsthand if you're happy to talk about it. But what's the story? What's your journey and how did it all come about?
So born in Ethiopia, 1999. South Sudanese parents. They fled the war-torn Sudan at that time. It wasn't a South Sudan at the time. It was just Sudan. They fled from Sudan to Ethiopia. Walked on foot for about, I think it was 6 to 7 days. Not having any idea where they were going, just finding somewhere to live and just getting away from how brutal that, the whole place was. And luckily they found Ethiopia. And then from there it was just, trying to find trying to find food, medicine, water. Because as you imagine, it's not just my family. There's about 70,000 other families trying to flee Sudan. So you can imagine there's just a lot of scarce of, medicine, food, water, and all that. So, so I was born in Ethiopia in the refugee camp there. But what I could remember from then, it was pretty much just, I didn't really worry about like what I didn't have. Like I was just worried about like playing soccer as a kid, and just having fun with my friends and family. Really, like I didn't even think about we didn't have food or didn't have water. It was just more about just having fun out there. And I could just remember, hanging around with my brother and just kicking the soccer. And I remember this day. I've got a photo at home actually. I've got this Arsenal kit that I used to wear. I used to love Arsenal because my uncle goes for Arsenal. And I used to just wear that T-shirt like every time I wanted to go play soccer. I just chuck it on and just pretend I'm like Henry or something. Yeah. And that's just probably the best memories I have from then. But growing up, you get told a lot of stories, by your parents and how much they endured as growing up in a war-torn country and going from there to refugee camp. But it was just, it would have been just tough. Like it, there's things called, there's child soldiers from a young age where you have to go, fight for, Sudan or in the military or something like that. And that's from the age of 6 to whatever. And my parents didn't, they didn't want us to be associated around that. So they moved from there to Ethiopia. But as you can imagine as well, it's just not food around there. So that's when we moved from Ethiopia to Australia as refugees. We got accepted in 2007 to come here in Melbourne. Different scenery, completely different. It was just, I remember just landing, just seeing bright lights, and it's just like, what the hell's going on? And the whole build up to landing from there and then going to my auntie's and in Dandenong we lived for about 3 months. So we went from the airport to Dandenong. So when there's like, so we're in the car and I remember there was a truck right next to us and we're going the same speed and it just feels like you're just standing still. Yeah. That's the weirdest experience I've ever had. That was the first car trip I've ever been in, like besides, being in a bus or anything like that.
And how old were you at this stage?
I was 6, turning 7. And it was just the weirdest feeling ever. Like you think you're standing still, but you're actually just moving. And I was just like, wow, I was just baffled. But that's just my memory of just, coming to Australia.
So incredible. And your parents are absolutely fucking amazing for what they've been able to do to get to Australia. When you were talking, you're saying about like being in Sudan, and there's parts where your parents were saying, fuck, we've got to get out of Sudan to get to Ethiopia because like, the child soldiers and all these things can happen. What are some of those like stories that they were like, fuck, we just got to get out here? Like, was there a time where they were just like, we need to leave to get to flee to Ethiopia?
Yeah, well, Sudan has been in a civil war for it's still happening now, but there was a stage where it stopped. But before that, I think they went on for about 40 years of civil war. It was just a lot of conflict between the north and the south. I think it's got stuff to do with religion, oil or stuff like that as well. But and it just got worse and worse, and there was just kids being misplaced, families being taken away, and that's when pretty much it's like, no, we can't do this. So we've got to go somewhere, anywhere will do, and that's when they just packed their bags and just left. And 6 days of walking and not knowing where to go would have been tough that's for sure. So
when they're walking like from across countries, are they with people they're all going to
similar situations?
Yeah.
So they just, as you can imagine, there's pregnancies, women with kids, just with luggages and just carrying stuff as well. They got kids on their back and they're just walking just to go somewhere, just to live. And they're just walking for days and days and just till they find something. That's pretty much what it was like.
When you're in a refugee camp in Ethiopia, I'm not sure if you can remember these things now, but like how long does it take to then apply to go to another country to then rock up to get approved to Australia?
The process for us, I think it took about 2 years. My dad was telling me. and there was a lot of waiting around happening. You know, going from refugee. Dad did a lot of trips from the refugee camp to Ethiopia in Addis Ababa, which is the city in Ethiopia. And just a lot of trips about, you know, applications and all that. Obviously, there's not much electricity in the refugee, so he has to go up and down. He did a lot of study as well, so he was speaking English. But as a genius, if you didn't know, speaks Arabic, my native language, which is Nuer, and English at that time in Ethiopia. So he was very educated.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so yeah, he used to travel from the refugee camp to Ethiopia and just apply and just, you know, the whole process of just going from there to Australia was massive.
What was it like, firstly, you know, probably a question for your family and your dad and your mum, but when they first got to Australia, what was the situation like? So you went to live with your auntie, you had family here already that had been approved?
Yep.
How long had they been here for?
Before us, so they were, I think they've been, I think I'm going to guess 5 years. Because I remember them leaving us when I was about very young. I don't know, I can't remember the exact age, but I remember them leaving before us. And yeah, so they were there before us, and it made the whole transition so much easier. So much easier. Like, would stay there, would go to school with the other kids living with my cousins as well there. And it was we found that it was so much helpful compared to just us just coming here without not knowing anything.
And when you first got to Australia as well, assuming that you weren't speaking English at that stage, was it 12 months to?
Yeah. So yeah, I knew no English. So it was all I knew was hello and goodbye. But a lot of cartoons, a lot of Simpsons, it helped me a lot. I'm a big fan of Simpsons still. Yeah. We used to watch a lot of cartoon straight from school, and also just, you know, learning from other kids as well was pretty helpful. But just the whole, you know, not knowing how to communicate with other people was tough, like from school. But, you know, as soon as the bell goes, we just go to the soccer oval and just have a kick. And that's how we met friends, and that's how we communicated, really.
Sport, like, was the biggest equaliser, isn't it? I think I've heard you say that before. It was such an equaliser for you. Like, it didn't matter about anything. As long as you could play sport with people, that's how you made friends, that's how you connected, that's how you 100%. Felt a part of it. Yeah,
that's how I felt. And till this day, I still believe that as well. Nelson Mandela is a big believer as well. So he's one of my idols as well growing up as well. So like he's you know, thought about the same as well. So yeah.
I think it's such a strong point. Like, when, you know, whether you're a refugee or a kid that's struggling to fit in or find friends, or anyone at all, like, I found the biggest things for me and the most lessons I learned was growing up and, like, playing sport with people. And I can imagine it would have been, you know, even if not more beneficial for yourself coming to Australia and not speaking English. How did it come about? Because you're saying you're playing soccer, you've mentioned it a few times, how much you loved it. Yeah. How did you find out about footy?
Yeah, so it was after living in Melbourne, we moved to Morwell.
Gippsland.
So my dad's a minister. He does a lot in church. So he wanted to build a church in Morwell, and he still has got a church in Morwell as well. So we moved there, I think it was 2008. And went to school in Commercial Road Primary School. That's a quick plug over there.
Yeah,
shout out. You know, when we moved to the country, it was a lot more different to the city, because our country community is way more into footy than the city. So we found that it was a lot of more footies being kicked around. It wasn't as, you know, much balls being around. So we were very curious about, you know, what that type of ball was. It's very different, egg shape. I'm like, oh, it looks a bit weird. A few of my mates where I like to hang out with asked me if I wanted to, you know, come over kick. I was like, yeah, why not? I was shocking at it. First kick shaked it, and another kick shanked it again. And then I was just I didn't want to come back after that. But it came with persistence and just coming back again. I was just like, well, if they enjoyed it, I might just jump in, make some more new friends and stuff like that. So learned how to play footy. They invited me to the Morwell. So there's two teams. I started with Morwell Tigers.
Yep.
And then
You didn't trade, did you? You did. Oh, no, man. You told them. That is bad.
I thought it was the same team. That's what.
Yeah. Okay.
So I went
the same team
because they're trained different nights. So
on the same oval.
yeah, same. It's the same oval. Yeah,
Oh, that is confusing.
yeah. So they're trained different nights. So I went on the wrong night, thinking it was actually the team where my mates played at, and then it turns out it wasn't. So then I had to, because I already signed up. I was like, oh shit, well, I might as well stay now. Played a season there. Then
Who was that? What team's that?
More Tigers.
Oh, so who was the other team at
More
Morwell?
Youth Club.
Youth Club.
So yeah. So at the end of the season, a few interviews, they asked me, where are you taking your talents? I was like, I'm taking my talents to More Youth Club. So joined More Youth Club with my mates there. Shattered because that year they won the premiership. The year I didn't join, they won the premiership, so I missed out. I haven't won a local premiership before.
So I'm just wait a sec. Youth Club.
More Youth Club.
Is that what the team is called?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the weirdest name ever.
It's a weird name.
I'm confused. I thought it was like a youth
All
club.
for it. No.
Yeah,
it's called More Youth Club.
Youth Club. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
red and white.
Red and white. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I was shattered, missed the premiership, and I was just. But it was good though, because that couple of years later we went undefeated, but we lost in the grand final.
I just even just on Morwell as a whole, a whole as in not as a whole as in a whole as in like holistic view. I can't imagine that being like nearly the most opposite place that you've ever been to as migrated to Australia. You probably couldn't pick like two different destinations. Like so living in like rural Victoria was quite different. I'm assuming it gets absolutely freezing in winter in Gippsland.
A little bit. Yeah, it's rainy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know yet, but apparently it used to be a rainforest there, like
Really?
back in ages ago. So gets a bit
It's
of
a
rain.
beautiful place, Gippsland.
It is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Unbelievable. A lot of beautiful people there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gippsland.
Shout out to the youth club. That's sick. So you're playing with the Tigers. You've dogged the youth club, unfortunately. You're playing with the Tigers, and then you get a scholarship. Is that correct?
Yeah.
To Xavier.
Xavier, yes.
So you boarding? Do you
boarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move down to Vic.
Bit weird experience.
How was that? Yeah.
Going from country and growing up there to posh.
And that, for anyone not in Victoria, Xavier's probably the biggest. One of the biggest schools here.
Unbelievable school. Like
Yeah.
it's
like Hogwarts, isn't it? Like it's massive. Like
it's massive, yeah. But going there was so daunting at the start. My mate Lathan Vandermeer plays for Doggies. We boarded together at the same time, and we were both like homesick. Like every weekend, we'd just go home. As soon as it's Sunday, we'd come back late, just because we missed being home. But once the footy season started, pre-season started, like we just became best mates. And I met a lot of people at the school as well that I still keep in contact with as well. It's such a beautiful school where it's welcomed me in open arms, because I was just a kid that didn't know what to do in the city, let alone Q. And so it was beautiful, because like it was a lot of family members were inviting me over for dinner, staying the night, just to make the whole homesickness, a lot more easier. And like, it's just shaped me to be a better person at the moment, just in terms of like, looking after people and just accepting other people. Like it's just so much, it's so beautiful there. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I think a lot of people leave high school with like sometimes a bit of a bitterness in their mouth, but I think, I'm exactly the same. I went to Ivanhoe, and it definitely changed me into a better person. It's like a footy club, really, isn't it? Like if you embrace it, it embraces you. But I suppose in your journey and having people like boarding, you know what? I have so much respect for kids at board. At that age, I literally wouldn't have even left my mum's side. I was that scared to even sleep over at a friend's house, let alone like move into the city and go to school.
Yeah, it made it a lot easier there. That's for sure. Like we did a lot together in the boarding house, like just to a lot of fun. A lot of tricks being played on each other, but it's good fun. Good fun.
What happened? So you didn't, because you're in the Next Generation Academy. So you got selected with Hawks. Is that because they had the Gippsland zone?
Gippsland zone. Yeah.
So how does that all play out? Because you get taken as a Category B rookie, like pre-draft. Is that right?
Yeah, pre-draft.
You're playing at Xavier. So is that with like yourself, Latham, Bailey Smith.
Who else
Will
got-
Golds, was he there?
Goldsy was there. Yeah, great team. Like we did pretty well. The year before that we did better, way better. I think we came third, I think.
Yeah.
Beat St. Kevin's first time in I think about 7 years. So it was an unbelievable experience. So much fun. But yeah, it was such a good team. Like it's just such a good team to look back on.
Hawks pick you
Generation,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, picked me up. They told me, I think it was a week before exams, just to, chill the nerves a bit.
And had you, sorry, just to go back, had you had prior communication with them? Was
Yeah.
it you'd go there a bit and do some training and stuff?
Yeah, so I did a lot of training with them.
Yeah.
Did a lot of one-on-one stuff. Nathan Fawley was, he looked after me as well because he was at the Hawks, looking after the next generation academy stuff. So I had a lot to do with him because he was a similar type of player, running type of player, loves the kick, but I wasn't that beautiful kick at the moment. Before that, so we did a lot of kicking, did a lot of touch and all that just before. I mean, after school, and yeah, he's been a big help when I was getting drafted and all that. And just one of the blokes that I used to text and go for a coffee with as well when school finishes.
Nathan Foley's a star, absolute ripper bloke. I still remember his season in I reckon it was 2009 when they were playing the Vic All Stars.
Oh.
He was just probably the most exciting player. in the
Yeah, it's
NFL,
unbelievable.
And unfortunately, the injuries sort of cut him down a little bit.
Yeah. No, I'll watch the same highlights as well.
He's a
Crazy
gun,
freak,
absolute gun.
freak.
You know how you were saying before about how your kicking wasn't good back then, but now again, very modest man, but your kicking's beautiful. You have an incredible kick. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Do you think that I've heard a few of the Irish boys say that when they come to play AFL and you learn it a little bit more at a more mature age, you don't form the bad habits as much as what kids do when you pick up the game early. When we're younger, and you learn it, you've got these bad habits that they're too hard to change by the time you get to a professional level. But if you're learning the game from maybe a later age and it's not as foreign, you can really structure your kicking a bit better. If you're learning from a professional coach,
Yeah, I think just training at a high intensity and so I think I learned from this. So there's a zone, right? So you've got your comfort zone and you got a danger zone and you got a sweet spot. I feel like as a kid you're really in that comfort zone a bit. You're just doing what you can, but you don't want to be in that danger zone because you're just stressed out and you don't want to you can't learn anything. So you just want to be in that sweet spot where you can be comfortable, but you can't really be too comfortable. And I think that's growing up, and that's where all the Irish boys learn, is that sweet spot. And that's pretty much where I learned as well.
So when you're saying that, that's actually very interesting. I love this. Are you saying early days you want to be in your comfort zone, you don't want to push out? Are we talking about kicking here, or are we talking about life in general?
Just skills, or it could be life as well. Yeah. But I'm just talking about just any type of skills at the moment.
Yeah, right.
Do you want me to break it down again?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking, maybe I'm really trying to cipher look into this.
Yeah.
I'm not a psychologist, I don't know what I'm saying, but I took that as when you're young, you have a comfort zone that you don't get out of, and basically you're not going to improve or get better in anything you do until you get out of your comfort zone.
That's right.
Is that what we're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I like
Correct.
that.
You like that?
Very good.
Thanks. I didn't come up with that, by the way.
No,
I'm not taking credit. No.
You did. No, I think it's renowned that's a thing. And I was actually having a conversation with a friend yesterday about this, and this has got nothing to do with kicking. It was just to do with what we're doing at the moment. So from my example, yours is kicking, mine is podcasting, right? And we're saying oh fuck, I feel like such an idiot sometimes, doing this podcast. People just think what an idiot, you're such a loser, why are you doing this? But if I'm not, and that's probably fair, but if I'm not getting myself out of my comfort zone and in that sweet spot, I'm not going to get better. So is that what we're saying?
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I like it.
That's it.
I like it. And also, just on that, I'm barking up this is for myself here, but I'm thinking one thing I've learnt lately, which I really like, is if people aren't when you do something, and for example, yourself, say with your kicking, and me with my podcasting, if you do something and you do it with authority and you just go no, I'm fucking doing this and I'm going to get better at it, people don't question it. They're just oh fuck, look at CJ go, what a maniac. Look at Dill go. What a star. He's a great podcaster. But if you question yourself, it allows other people to question yourself. So they'll just go, what the fuck this guy's doing? He's never going to be good at this sort of thing. Do you like that?
I like that.
It's another one.
That's a great one.
You can keep that.
I'll keep that one.
Yeah, it's good. One thing you said earlier, I'd love to go back to, and you were talking about when you were in Ethiopia, and you were saying about like when you were living in the camp with your brother and you're kicking around the soccer ball, and you're like, I've never been as happy. You know, you're like, I've never been happier. I'm just doing my thing and not having the stress of the world. Now, there's two parts to that. One, you're 6 years old and you're probably not as stressed as what you are now. But do you ever draw back on that with the person you are now? You're playing AFL, you've got eyes on you all the time, you're in a high stress environment, there's like massive things that are going on, you know, your brain will just be buzzing. Do you use those moments to draw back and be like,
100%.
fuck, like,
yeah,
I'm here?
100%. If I'm down or I'm having a shocking day, I'm just, first thing I think is, this isn't so bad. Like this is not bad at all. Like, look where you just come from. Like, you got nothing to lose. Like, you had nothing pretty much. So what can you lose? That's pretty much what I come back to till this day, and that's what keeps me motivated, really. So, yeah. Yeah,
it's good, isn't it? It's like obviously it's gratitude, but you know, your level is a lot more extreme because it's changed your life for incredible, you know, amounts of things. But it's it's a bit of a wake up call. Like even for me, like listening to the story today and coming in with a worry that I had earlier, and I'm just like, what the fuck? That does not actually equate to anything right now. I suppose it's just a healthy dose of perspective sometimes for everyone that you need to hear. Everyone has stories. Like I was telling you just before, like I just dropped off one of my best mates, Sam, to the doctors. He's having his last like bout of chemo today, and I was just like, fuck, man, like how am I stressing right now when there's other shit going on?
Yeah. Jeez.
It's crazy.
It'd be very tough, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, can we talk about like the multiculturalism in the game? I know something you're extremely passionate about. With Sudanese and African players playing. We spoke, you know, earlier offline, like Majak Dor, what he's done for the game. Ali this year is just taken his game. Like, it's pretty fucked how good he was this season.
Yeah.
We've got Isaac Quainer as well, who's from Ghana. What's the relationship like with the African community in the AFL? Do you guys you know, stay in touch?
Oh, we do. Yeah, we've got a little group chat that goes on actually. Just a lot of banter happening in there. Bit of fun, but we're just all aware of what we've come through. Like we're just all similar. So we do sympathise and get around each other really. So, and like it's so cool, like how what it might be like in the next 10 years, what the AFL will be like. So very excited, and seeing a lot of kids come through is very exciting. And like just it's so cool. Like even seeing like what Jason Johannesson has done. 2016 grand final, coming from South Africa. Like it's pretty cool. Another Ghanaian, Isaac Quainer as well, as you mentioned. Had a good season this year as well in the last couple of years. So he's a gun as well. So very excited.
What's happening behind the scenes that we might not know about for African players in the pathways? Like I'm sure you've seen some of these young guys coming through. I was watching some of like the NAB League highlights the other day. It's pretty fucking scary and exciting of what's coming through. Yeah. And is it just getting more popular and popular?
It is. Yeah. Well, because there's a lot more people playing. As opposed to just, it used to be just Majak. Like he's paved the way for all the South Africans and Africans around the country. So just seeing more of that, a lot of people are just so excited to just see more of that and be like, oh, I love what he's doing. I want to do that when I grow up. It's so cool as well. Like, seeing kids, send you a message on Instagram or something. And they're like, wow, this is awesome. Like, reaching out to, kids as well saying, keep training hard and all that as well. So, it's very humbling and just such, pretty cool as well.
Do you understand the impact you're having on
100%.
people?
Yeah.
You know that?
100%. Like I was in their shoes as well as a kid. I remember, when Majak, a couple of years Majak got drafted, I used to be a pest, I used to message him all the time.
Did he reply?
Actually, I posted a photo. It was just him kicking the footy. I posted on my Insta. He actually replied to it. He's like, thanks, mate. I took a screenshot. It used to be on my iPod, but I don't have it anymore. But no, it's so cool. Like I completely understand where they're coming from when they, even if they do send multiple texts, it's showing a lot of care. So yeah, it's cool.
It's very cool, man. It's very exciting to see. I can only imagine how special that would be to have so many players looking up to you in your position, because you're doing incredible things.
Thanks, my bro.
What's your goals for next year? What's your goals for your career? Like, what do you set goals?
I don't pin goals. I don't write them down.
Yeah.
But I've got, there's like I have something in my head what I want to do. I know it's kind of hard at the moment because I'm doing a bit of rehab on this knee. So firstly, I just want to get this knee right. First training session, have a really nice training session. Want to win the 2.2K again. That's
if you
for
know
sure.
Run with me, bro.
Goal.
I could start the king. I can be taking you on those 4
You
minutes.
can be the pace setter if you want.
I could be the 4-minute 45. Yeah, pacer.
Yeah.
You can keep up with me.
I'll try to keep up. But I just want to win the 2.2K. That's at the moment, and just tick boxes. Have a really good pre-season. Train really hard and just to come back even fitter, stronger than last season. I'm looking forward to it.
I know you know in your eyes, like, it's always easier because it's always harder when you're talking about yourself. But from my point of view, you're an established AFL player now, and I think it's just up to you. Like, I'm sure you already believe that, but I'm sure you want to keep it to yourself a bit more. Speaking to Tommy Mitchell, one of our mutual friends, and he was talking about how you, him, and Scrimshaw love like the NBA culture, and you like to talk to each other, pump each other up, and actually like say things like you actually be like, no, I want to do this, I want to do that, and be what is seen to be like in Australia arrogant, which it's not. Yeah. But you like to say things like, no, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to do that. Do you actually find that do you think that will come out soon?
I think it will. I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, well, we've got us three. We don't want to say too loud around the change rooms because people might take us as a wrong way and think we're just arrogant pricks. But we're starting to build a little bubble around the change rooms. But it's just at the start, it used to be like it's just fun and games and all that. And we just love to pump each other up. We're good mates as well on the ground and off the ground as well. So we love pumping each other up, and that's just a way of doing that as well, without coming across as arrogant. Some people might see it as that, but it definitely isn't. It's just pumping each other up and just uplifting each other.
Do you take like confidence out of like these players or like NBA players and how they go about it? Because I think like as a young bloke back in the day, I wish I was a bit more like just believed in myself a bit more, and I feel a big thing for me in believing in myself is when I say things. So like if I say if I speak things, like if my language is good and I say like I'm not there yet, instead of like I'm never going to do that. Yeah, that's like my biggest thing. Like is picking up with language and talking.
Language is very important. We do a lot of stuff. We have a group called Catalyst at the club. Catalyst. It's good. Do you know what that means?
I know what it means. I couldn't give you the definition, but I understand.
Just fast tracking development.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So it's a group where it's pretty much just development. Yeah. So it's 1st to 4-year players. And the key things we talk about is language and the importance of language and how you say things, and how strong you say things. Because, you can be a bit half-assed about it and just not really believe in yourself if you do say it. So it's about that, and I found that it's been very important this season and this year. And it's just been a lot, it's been so helpful, really.
Do you have like a performance psych at the club, I'm assuming, that goes through this sort of stuff?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Because that's been a big thing for me. And the things that I was thinking about then is I don't know the science around this, and I was hoping maybe we'll get one in one day. But I'm pretty sure like your brain it doesn't know when you're being serious or joking. So like even if you say something that you say, oh fuck my life or something like this, your brain takes that and it thinks like, oh fuck, I'm down on myself, I'm giving myself this energy, like that's what it is. So just on that as well, I was just thinking more about it. Like that's why I always try and just say exactly what you've said then. Like, think, talk positive to yourself. You always got to be your own best friend. Like that's how you treat yourself.
Even giving feedback to someone else. When you tell that feedback and then you give a little joke or a little giggle at the end, they could be like, oh, was that a joke? Yeah. Not take you seriously. So the importance of language is, as you were saying as well, you got to really deliver it.
Massive. Massive. I even find for with this podcast, there's so much shit that I say that I'm saying it to actually just reaffirm just to keep doing it. Like, you know, that I'm struggling with myself. But yeah, it's interesting. I want to talk about one more thing before we go. We were talking about this off there. TikTok. We love TikTok. You love TikTok?
We love TikTok.
You're big on TikTok.
I'm not that big though.
You're pretty big, man. You've been doing some good things on TikTok. You did the cool mouth thing the other day.
That
was good.
That was funny. I was just like,
We'll get that up. That was cool. What's your account?
What's my account? CJ Jiath.
CJ Jiath. Okay.
Is that a plug?
Yeah, no, get on the
huge.
talk. Yeah, we'll definitely get on that. We're getting on talk. We had a chat about this. I had a meeting with a girl from TikTok today. Her name was Al. She was a star.
Yeah.
TikTok is unbelievable. Do you know, apparently, on Instagram soon, there's going to be no photos. So it's just all going to be videos.
I saw something about that as well, yeah.
So imagine, like, you've got to start getting really good at these videos because otherwise there's got to be no photos anymore.
That's right. I've been on it for about 3 or 4 years now, so I'm pretty confident about it.
What's your go-to on it? Like, what do you do? Because I've got to work out my niche.
Oh, it's honestly, I don't even have a thing that I go to. I just
you just do it.
just do it.
What's CJ off field? What are you doing off field?
Off field, a bit of gaming at the moment.
What are you playing again?
Playing Warzone, but at the moment I bought a PS5.
Yeah,
I'm playing NBA
They're hard to get, aren't they?
Very hard. Yeah,
Did you get it on the eBays or the marketplace?
Yeah.
What's someone doing when CJ's rocking up to the house? Did they know who you were, or was it?
No. Well, I'll tell you a story about that. So I had a knee brace at that time, and the guy told me, "Yeah, meet me over here. It's like an alley." And I had a knee brace at the time. I was like, "Oh shit, I might just get robbed here." So as I got out, I took my knee brace off just to show I'm not, crippled.
Yeah.
So he doesn't try to rob me.
Yeah.
But luckily he was a good bloke. He didn't rob me.
Good. So you got the PS5.
Got the PS5.
Was it second?
Secured.
How did he get it?
It was brand new, but it was good investment for him actually. Very good because I think he bought it for I don't know the actual price. Oh yeah, because this is a time where they weren't making any PS5s. They didn't release any yet. Well, they did release it, but they weren't making any more.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he bought one. I think it was about $700. Sold it for about 900. So profit.
Little markup there.
Yeah.
I get all my sneakers off Marketplace.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm a big sneaker guy on Marketplace.
Nice. What you go to?
I've slowed down a bit, but I was on the Yeezys, but now I'm transitioning over to Nike. So I'm trying to get rid of all my Adidas stuff.
I can keep it.
Are you Adidas?
Yeah, I'm Adidas. Yeah.
Do you reckon I should get do you think that will keep going up over the years? Like
Yeezys,
I feel like they're so overdone now that it's like
I don't know. I'm not sure,
but I think beat too, man. I'm going to the dog park in mine and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at looking after them. Yeah.
I think the Nike Jordan 1s, the low cuts, and the Dunks as well.
I've got those.
They're very popular at the moment.
Yeah, they're cool.
And the 4s as well, Jordan 4s.
I haven't got the Jordan 4s.
Yeah. But I was about to pull the pin, but I was about to buy the Travis Scott's Jordans.
Oh, they're my favourite.
So at the time they were paying. They're pretty expensive.
They're swag.
I think they were paying $1,000 or something. But I was like, I don't want. This is way too expensive.
That's
I can't
matchy
for a shoe. But they're going up to $4,000 at the moment.
That's what I mean. People don't understand. It's actually an investment, isn't it?
Jesus. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is an investment. So if you're doing good at that, might as well go.
Yeah, I'm not doing great at it. A couple other little tidbits. These are from maybe you'll be able to pick who they are. You've been doing some Kerford Road punishment sessions, is that right? Is that the boys?
Oh, jeez.
Who? I thought that was just a Carlton thing doing the Kerford Road, but I found out every single person is going to Kerford Road, and you're taking some flippers.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You're not a good swimmer?
Nah, shocking.
So what's happened here? Firstly, why are you doing the punishment set? Is it a whole team or is it just you?
No, it's a whole team.
Okay.
So I'll ask this: if you find me a fish that can walk, then I'll start swimming.
Oh, I don't mind that. That's good.
But I just hate swimming.
I'm not a confident swimmer either, especially in that water. It's pretty scary and cold.
Oh, yeah, it is. So
was it pitch black?
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Oh, that is so petrified.
Pretty dark.
Yeah.
Took my flippers. Still struggling. While even the flipper's on.
Yeah.
But no, it was just so bad. I just can't swim. So.
No, it is quite scary. Last one, I think was after a game when I had a scan. You thought you were injured. Turns out you just had a flu jab.
That is a lie. That's the
You
biggest.
had a flu jab.
You've
You've gone and had a scan on your arm because you thought you'd done your shoulder.
That's not true.
Okay, I'm just going through what I'm getting on the podcast here.
Oh.
We have good insight.
Well, the doc said, just roll with it. It'll be funny. Just make him think that it's actually real. So I was like, yeah, boys, yeah. I got a jab and I think it's, there's actually something wrong with me. Just to go with the joke. Next thing I know, it's gone around the club. Everyone's telling everyone for like a whole week. I was like, this is BS.
So that's not true?
That's not true.
Okay, both not true. Who's your most exciting player besides yourself going into next season?
Will Day.
Yeah.
And Jack Scrimshaw, he if you didn't keep up with the BNF votes, he didn't finish top 10. I believe he had a really good season. But next season, I reckon he'll be fit and fire and ready to go just to prove everyone wrong.
The similarities of him and like a Grant Birchall, even just the way they like move, that the left foot, the kicking, everything is very uncanny.
Birch 2.0.
Yeah. And Will Day, funny story about Will Day, I'm not sure if he's ever told you this, but when I was at the Giants, for some reason, he was like 17 at the time, and he was at the grand final, and we were like hanging out, and he got a photo with me, and now he's like a superstar, and I suck. How funny is that? We're mates.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
way back.
Yeah, he's a good man. CJ, thank you so much for your podcast. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Incredible story, incredible season, incredible career to date. So happy to call you a friend and be in the studio, man. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, man.